Kristin, we've been talking about this for a number of years, even 20 years ago when I was in property management systems. It's best of breed versus sort of an integrated solution. What are your thoughts and what are the pros and cons on, and maybe we even need to explain it, I suppose, first and foremost for the audience. What do we mean by best of breed versus an integrated solution?
Yeah, so best of breed would be looking at all your different components and aspects that you want to draw together to make up your system. It could be addressing various areas. So yeah, self check-ins. It could be service optimization, your guest, your post checkout marketing and guest satisfaction tracking, etc. So if you're going best versus breed, it's where you want to look at all the different aspects and all the different programs and pick the person or the vendor that is the identified as the best in that class, and then bringing that all together into one. Whereas an integrated solution is one where you look at vendors that might have all of those areas that come in under the one banner, so they're designed, whether it could be a system as a whole that has that, or they have their core system and have them as what you might call a product enhancer. That, okay, it might be ABC PMS and it has ABC guest management, ABC service optimization. You bring them in. They might not necessarily have all the features, but they're integrated. So it is certainly a very interesting question and a really good question to ask. And I think something that we're seeing a bit of a shift in the industry in recent times. So probably 10 years ago, you would have been looking at everyone going for best on breed because they just wanted to go for what was out there. And potentially at the time, because some of these areas were areas where it was brand new. So you had someone that's focused on that. So you would go for that best in breed. But what you're potentially finding over the years, and something that I think one of my colleagues, and we were discussing this recently, put a really good analogy. It's almost a bit like having like Frankenstein's monster potentially, that you might have this head that looks really good and these arms that looks really good and these legs that look really good, and you're going to bring it all together and think, oh yeah, that they've all looked really good. But when you bring it all together and put it together as one, that doesn't necessarily look that good. And I guess from a workflow perspective, you're looking at how all these different systems talk to each other. You're potentially going to face issues with integrations and the capabilities, and okay, well, this talks to this, and because they're potentially using different technologies, different platforms, it doesn't necessarily flow. So yes, they can interface and integrate with each other, but in the process of doing so, you're not necessarily going to get that full information flow and share between the different programs back and forth. So you still potentially, whilst it's great that you have this, you're potentially creating inefficiencies within your system because of the fact that you've got a lot of manual aspect that you still have to do, whether it's exporting or making sure that information gets through to there, or you have to click on this and click on that and then do that. And okay, now that's sent through. Whereas now I think a lot of vendors are looking at that integrated system. So what that is looking at these different aspects and take them in. And so when you're building these products, it's built with what they would integrate to in mind. So it could be something would add into a PMS. They're automatically designed to, again, so it could be ABC PMS. ABC are building something else. So when they're doing all their coding and building this platform, it's done with the integration into ABC in mind as the most efficient. Yes, it will still integrate with others, but if you can get one that's talking to the system natively, absolutely fantastic. And I think potentially one of the great things that you have from an end user point of view is you're dealing with a single vendor. If you've got these best in breed systems where you've got all these different pieces, you've got to coordinate potentially 3, 4, 5 different vendors to come together at the same time. Are they all locally based? You might have 3 that are based here in Sydney, and one that's in Perth, one that's in Singapore, one that could be in the US, where you're trying to get the support. So trying to coordinate that time and effort, it can be very hard. And when you're in a hotel, trying to coordinate time when you've potentially got these systems that aren't working isn't necessarily a luxury you have. You're a 24/7 business and you need this now. So if you have an integrated solution where you can just talk to that single vendor you can go to their 24/7 support line, okay, yes, I know that whatever it is I'm telling you I have an issue with, you're going to be able to address it. It might just be, okay, we've got to put you onto this product specialist, but they're going to have that capability in there. So look, I guess it depends on what, again, is what the hotel wants and what works for them. If they've only got 1 or 2 and they really want to focus on this and have what is the absolute top of the range with all the bells and whistles, if you want to have that in, by all means, go for it. We're not necessarily saying that you shouldn't do that, but it's just, again, like the PMS, look at what is going to be the ultimate needs for your property And then you have to make that decision. So you might go, you know what, yes, it might be tricky because I've got 3, 4, 5 different vendors, but I really need this and I really need the features and functionality that this one has. Look, as much as I'd love your system because it integrates so well, it'll be a single provider solution, it's just not going to meet my needs. But we are seeing more of a trend of people looking for that. And I think also from a vendor side, you're looking at it in what you would call that end-to-end solution, where they would take it from the start to the finish, cover everything in between. So that way you are looking at that single vendor that has all these systems integrated, design, talk together. And so that is becoming a selling feature for the vendors. And that they're able to say, look, not only can I get this for you, I guess it's similar to an upsell, but in this time it's your vendor upselling to you saying, look, I can do this and then I can sell this for you, whether it's something you take now or add on in the future, up to you. So yeah, it's certainly a very interesting space. And I think we are starting to see more of that integrated systems approach make its way back into the market again. And people are looking for that ease of working with a single vendor or minimizing the number of vendors they have to deal with. So yeah, certainly a very good topic to be discussing at this point.
No, that's a great answer and really interesting.